For $134.05, these boots are worth it. For $203.76, they might still be worth it. Let me explain. These are the gym green Razorback boots with steel toes, US size 14. They came from Amazon, and Amazon currently has a $65 discount. So my cost was $134.05. I also decided to order a pair in size 13 and a half, and you only get the discount once, so I had to pay full price for those, which was $203.76. And I tried both pairs on, and the 14s felt the best on my foot, so the 13 and a halves are getting returned to Amazon. As I said, these are Gym Green boots. Gym Green's a really interesting company. They're in South Africa, and they apparently have a really high unemployment rate there. So the fact that there's a local business employing local people to make boots, I think is pretty cool. On top of that, every 10 pairs of boots that they sell, they give a free pair away to the African Rangers who take care of the jungle environment there and try to catch poachers and so on. So I think that's a really cool thing that Jim Green does. Some of the things I really like about these boots are this padded collar. The leather kind of feels like a softer glove leather. And it also has a leather heel in the back of it. And the vamp also is lined. I think it might be some sort of cloth, but I can't tell for sure. Rose Anvil cut a pair of these open, and I'm pretty sure that that was a cloth, but you might refer to his video if you're wanting to know for sure. Another nice thing about these boots are these steel toe caps. Apparently they're asymmetrical, which means that this one's designed for the right foot and this one's designed for the left foot. It curves on the inside and it curves even more here on the outside. So that makes a really nice cup for putting your toes in. So it gives you quite a bit more comfort. That's a really nice thing that Jim Green does. A lot of work boots with steel toes, the steel toe cap is the exact same in both pairs or both boots. So some people have trouble finding a steel toe work boot that fits them right and is comfortable to wear. A couple of things that I don't particularly like about these boots, but I can live with. One of them is this ton. As you can see, it's a padded ton. So when you stick it in the boot and lace it, sometimes this gusset pops up when you're lacing the boot and it doesn't want to stay down. The other thing I don't like about these boots are the insoles that they come with. The top of this is leather. It's the same leather as this collar, I believe. It's sewn onto this fiberboard that has very little cushioning to it. They did add this blue foam pad to the heel, which it does help, but if you get a pair of these, expect to be replacing those insoles with something quite a bit more comfortable. For me, that wound up being Dr. Scholl's heavy-duty support insoles. They're designed for people that weigh over 200 pounds. I'm 6'3" and I weigh 250, so once I put those insoles in these boots, it was a night and day difference. Quite a bit more comfortable. So those two things I think I can live with. I mean, this tongue is gonna probably flatten out as these boots break in, and insoles can be replaced. But one thing I noticed about these, and maybe it's just because they're handmade and it's just the way they are, is the stitching's kind of slightly odd looking, I guess. If we look at the toes, you can see that the stitches kind of crisscross each other. But if we look at the sides, right where the steel toe starts to end, the threads even out down the side of this boot. And on this one, they're crisscrossed ways, and then they start to even out. Probably even out right in the area of the ball of the foot. So I saw that, and I thought maybe it was a defect, so I ordered a second pair of size 14 boots, and I'll show you those here next. Here are the second pair of 14s that I ordered. As you can see on the toes, they start out evenly stitched, but if we look at the sides, they crisscross for quite a ways, and then they turn even again on that boot. And this one, they crisscross pretty much all the way down the side of it. On top of that, this boot has a minor defect. Those two stitches on the front are set in a little too far, so that flattens out that toe in that area. It looks like the boot was kicked against something. So these are definitely going to get returned as defective because of that. Jim Green has a YouTube channel, and you can see their video on how these Razorback boots are made. The ones in the video aren't steel toe, but that doesn't matter. When the worker gets to the part where they're sewing the upper to that sole floorboard that the actual sole glues onto, you'll see they're kind of doing it a bit fast, and I think that's why these two pairs of boots I've shown you have such a variance on how the stitching looks. Now, of course, that's by hand, so there is going to be some variance, but that other pair of boots, that was quite a bit of variance in my opinion. I think if Jim Green maybe trained these guys to slow down a bit with that sewing machine when doing this part of the process, I think the stitching would look quite a bit better. So the final conclusion on these, at $134.05, these are a steal. Get yourself a pair, you're really going to like them. Just expect to be replacing that insole with a better product. And I can't really hold that against Jim Green because there's a lot of work boots that have bad insoles, and there's a lot of work boots that have really good insoles, like I mentioned earlier. Are these worth the full price of $203.76? I believe so. But here on the United States work boot market, they're facing some pretty stiff competition. At that low $200 price range, they're competing against Carolina, Ariat, Danner, Georgia, Caterpillar, Timberland, and Thorogood, to name most of them. If I decided to return both pairs of these boots, the total would be $337.81. That would get me into a pair of Red Wings, but I'm not a big fan of Red Wings. For 40 to 50 bucks more, JK Boots makes a stitch down of their own called the 300 that looks pretty nice, but it looks like it only has a single stitch all the way around, whereas these Jim Greens are double stitched all the way around. And of course, if I was to save up $200 more, I could get a pair of whites or Nick's boots. But for $134.05 compared to $550 work boots. I think these are a pretty good bargain. So if you're looking for an affordable pair of work boots with steel toes, these are going to be pretty hard to beat, especially at $134.05 with that $65 discount from Amazon. And even at $203.76, I think they're a pretty good deal, especially with that padded collar and that leather counter heel. A lot of work boots at that price don't have a leather counter heel, and their collars aren't nearly as well padded as these Jim Greens are. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully it answered some questions you may have had about these Jim Green Razorbacks.